Welcome to the Save Par Golf Podcast, where two average golfers talk about golf and things. I'm your host, Derek.
Yeah, Derek, welcome to Save Our Golf
I'm back.
Podcast.
I'm back. We are currently in episode 152. This is Dom Dom, obviously, who's always here.
I
And
only missed one.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Well,
you had to call me to see how my
I had
computer
to I
worked.
had to figure that out, but we made it work. We have a very special guest today. We have Vicente with Campo Golf Co. Latino heritage inspired brand representing culture through design. Make sure to give them a follow on Instagram. Their user handle is at Campo Golf Co. Vicente, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast, man.
Thanks, Derek. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And thank you, man. I love the hat. I will say I'm a big hat guy, so is Dom Dom. But like as far as like the quality, I mean, got the skull right here.
Yeah.
It's very breathable, lightweight. I
I
love
don't
it.
I
Thanks,
don't
man.
wear hats on the pod. I just feel like it like shades half my head, and then I feel like it's just a mess.
He likes to show
Yeah.
off the flow.
Well, every
I
time I
have
wear
I
a
have a
hat,
short
it's like I feel
forehead
like my
too,
face
so
is
it kind of
hard.
covers in pretty deep.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I have a lot of hair, so
You do. When are we
Lucky
gonna get
you.
that trimmed?
I want to go back. Do you remember when it was like shoulder length?
Yeah.
I want to do that. It's been like a calling lately. That sidetracked. I know you don't have all this going on. I've been
Yeah, I
having
don't
weird
have that
issues with,
luxury, unfortunately. I'm on the other side,
damn, dude,
so
I'll make you a
You
wig. You want
you
blonde hair?
take some Dom
yeah, if you want to
Doms.
donate some over here, I'll take it. I
Fuck
can do a
yeah.
come over.
So I've been having weird issues with like matting lately. So it's like my hair just like wants to like become a big old dread. And I don't want that.
Do you think it's because like the humidity out there, so it's still so warm?
That and like a combination of my hair being super thick.
Yeah.
Like I literally like every morning have to wake up and then like undo all the knots. It's a thing.
You gotta start
Well,
sleeping in a
hey,
bun like my wife does, like everything all wrapped up so it
I don't
prevents
do
all the
that.
knots.
No, listen, I grew this. I'm gonna let it down. I'm gonna show it off. Some of my favorite looks that I've had has been more shoulder length, and that kind of eliminates this. So I just gotta schedule a time with my stylist, and then she can yell at me for not going in like 2 years. And
it's been a while.
You can definitely rock something like Neil Shipley. I think that you could definitely do a move like
don't tempt
that.
me. I know everyone's like, Dom, do a mullet. I'm like, no,
That would be badass.
that's
That
not that's
you could
not
do it for
me
a
though.
quick couple
No,
of
it's not
days,
Dom.
and then
I'm
chop
not
it
a
off.
mullet.
I'm down with a mullet and like the Canadian tuxedo, just the freaking
Okay, that'd be kind of cool.
jean cut off shirt.
There you
I would
go.
do like the insulated like vest.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wanted dreads
Definitely.
when I was in high school, though. That's a true fact.
I can see it.
I good thing I didn't.
I can
But
rock that.
anyway, this show is about you. So let's just dive right into it here. Like what inspired you to start a golf brand and how long has this brand been in existence?
Yeah, so I started Campo just this past year. So I'd say maybe 5, 6 months ago. And the intention was, as I was getting more into playing, I saw that there wasn't much representation from Latino brands. And this is prior to me discovering now the bigger community that's grown, and just make a place where I can make something of value that brings my previous heritage from Mexico over and be in representation on the course through not through just personality, but through what you wear. And granted, I've started with the hats, as you can see, and that's the name that I picked for it. But the intention is to eventually grow it to where I can bring original attire that was regional for Mexico and put it into play like in the course. So it shows somewhat of representation from different regions and cultures so that we don't forget what our ancestors dressed like, but be able to rock
Sure.
it just be comfortably.
That's amazing. So how'd you decide to come up with the name of the company? And if you just for people that don't understand, because we obviously were talking about before,
Yeah,
but like can you just kind of describe what the meaning is to you and again, kind of how you came up with it?
sure. Yeah, so Campo came up with by definition, the two definitions to it. One is in literal terms, it means like a countryside, a field, or a course. But in Spanish terms, or something I can't say if it's truly Mexican, but in Spanish slang, it's campo means maybe some space. So the phrase is hazme campo, which means give me some space, make some room for me, and that's what I would like to see be part of the game and be more inclusive. We want to make sure that not only us as a brand, but as a culture, we make it more inclusive for all to be part of the game. So I feel like we can always make space for someone else to be part of the game and grow the space.
For sure. And I mean, where do you think it's like as far as like the Latino heritage, the culture itself? I mean, just in golf in general. I mean, obviously we have a that you know as far as the group chat and all that stuff. Like we're pretty big in the Latino community, especially in the
They've like
California.
adopted me of
Yeah,
all people.
Yeah, and that's part of the exactly right.
yeah,
Like I know it's Miklo over here, so
yeah,
I caught that on.
yeah.
But I think that's typical of Latino culture being very warm and welcoming, and it's always being part of like, hey, if you're one of us, you're part of the family, and you're going to be sticking around with us at all times. We don't take it for judgment for any case. As long as you want to be part of this and you want to be included, by all means, you've been part of it with us.
And I think that's my favorite part. I didn't really know about a lot of that till we had our original shindig. I was walking around. I had two big boy Modelos in my hands. I think I had like two
Nice.
40s essentially.
We
And
should have did Edward 40 hands with you.
dude,
That would have been sick.
basically I got two big boy Modelos and ended up playing because somebody had to go home early and I'd been drinking all day. And we get to this hole where there's a backup and I'm like chilling. I got my Modelos. We're listening to music. Then I hear Dom, Dom. And I'm like, who the hell is yelling for me? And it's Ralph and Raul, like a few carts back. And they're like, bro, what are you drinking? I'm like, Modelo's. And they're like, how many of those have you had? I'm like, I think this is five, this is six or something. And they go, when you come to the carne asada. I'm like, bro, like, tell me when, tell me where. I'm there. So
Tell me when.
ever since then, it's kind of been just like, Dom's one of them.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's the little moments that create part of that inclusivity. Like as long as you show the part of being welcome, hey, you're going to be part of the party at any given time.
And I think that's like the beautiful part that people don't get to see, right? Like, we've had really cool opportunities to work with all these different brands. Some are Latino owned, some aren't, obviously, but like, we've had John from Buena Gente on, and I have yet to meet anybody to have anything negative to say about John
Yeah, I
or
mean, I've
any
had a chance to chat with John a couple times, and he's a great person. I
John's
think
a John's a great
what he's
dude. Like
doing is
I've
amazing
had
too.
this on my water bottle since
Yep,
he sent it over.
I need to get that ring.
That ring is
that's a
sick.
dope ring.
But like
It's
Yeah, that's a
he
sick ring.
he does
yeah.
such a good job really opening up his design philosophy. Hey, this is based off of my uncle. Hey, this is based off of this. And I think stuff like that is a really interesting look into the Latino culture, Latino heritage, especially in the golf world, where I feel like it's predominantly white. Well, I shouldn't say I feel like it's predominantly white. It is predominantly white.
Yeah, it has been for the most part.
But now there's all these cool brands coming out of everywhere where, like Ralph and Raul, Buena Gente, Lalo, it goes on and on and on. And everybody's story is so personal and interesting, but it
Yeah,
all ties back to just being Latino and the heritage. And I think that's really beautiful.
yeah, and I guess the other part is that something that reminds me of my heritage too is my father-in-law. He used to work the same strawberry fields no more than 5 miles away from where I live. And those are called campos, the campos of strawberries. So that's part of the name is why I picked because it brings it back to so close to home how it is of my life and how we used to have in our heritage of working the fields, being part of it, and now transitioning to be I want to be on the green fields, not just the strawberry fields and a part of the farmland. So I think now, as you say, having that conversation to have all these brands uprise and be part of the space and now be included is so refreshing to see because there's being more variety and more flavor, as Ralph and Los Golferos say, we're bringing the chile and the spice into the game is so much more of a creative process because now you have such variety of tire and culture and the ambiance that it creates is a lot more fun to be part of.
When did you actually pick up the game of golf? When did you start playing?
I learned to play golf. Maybe I was like 12, 13 years old. My parents took me to like a mini session at a course. At the time, I definitely felt like I didn't belong just because of the nature. I was one of the Latino kids there, and I was learning with my little brother. Who was like a year old. They brought him a mini club, and I remember when I was there, I took a swing, and I was so nervous to play, it just slipped out. And you know those
Oh,
typical videos where it just launches out.
yeah.
I was me, and after that session, I was like, you know what? I don't think this is for me. I'm not going to be playing this. So I sped off. I spent a lot of time not touching it, just because I was so stuck to soccer and the typical Latino Mexican games. In the past few years, I had tore my ACL playing, and at that point, I thought I need to find something that's a little more a part of my recreation that I won't burned my other knee too. And naturally, like everyone else, COVID hit, and I started seeing back of the interest in the game. And I thought, okay, maybe I can give it a try again after so many years that I said I didn't really belong. And now I feel even more included now, with not just like the golferos and all the brands that are coming up in Latinos, but now seeing my friends that are all mostly Hispanic and Latino playing the game. I definitely felt like it was more of a time to be in the game and be part of it.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference. The nice thing about golf too is kind of going back to the ACL thing. It's like for the most part, you can play golf pretty much your whole life. I mean, obviously depending on
Right.
certain injuries, but it's a lot less physically
Demanding.
demanding. Yeah, when you
Yeah.
Yeah,
tear a
absolutely.
ACL, that's yeah.
Do you remember that video we made and never posted of me throwing that golf club at the driving range in the winter?
Yes, that was for a DraftKings a DraftKings deal back in the day.
I
That's right. I
so
forgot about
I
that.
launched that club and it was in the middle of winter, so it's like nobody's playing golf anyways here because it snows here.
Yeah,
Right.
a lot.
And Derek's like, okay, just swing normal, but then like just throw your club a little bit. And I overcommitted. I threw it, and we're both just like, where did you throw your club? And I'm like, it
It's buried in the
somewhere
snow.
over there. We had to find it, and it was a whole thing.
Yeah, so don't feel so bad.
I don't think I've thrown a club since though.
I mean, I have flashbacks of it since I was a kid. It was so long ago, just the embarrassment of
Yeah.
it. But now I'm like, you know what? I've seen enough videos of it. It's happened to so many people. It's gonna happen again at some point. So it's
Yeah,
all
at least
good.
you didn't go viral for it or something.
No, luckily there wasn't social media at
Yeah,
the time.
there's no
Thank goodness.
camera.
But
Yeah,
oh, it would have been
I mean,
bad.
there's a video of everyone yelling four and then me looking up. So I'm
You're,
like,
you're like
where
you're
is it?
asking it to come to you at that point.
Yeah, so it pans over, everyone's like ducking, and I'm just like, where is it?
Oh man.
And
Um,
then I dropped a dart.
then you dropped a dart.
I
Yeah.
dropped a dart.
There you go.
Uh,
See?
so, so you have the hats here. So you have two different colorways at the moment, right?
Yeah,
So black, white, and black.
Damn, I feel bad for not wearing mine and you guys both wearing the white ones.
it's all good.
It's all good.
Damn.
So can you kind of just maybe talk a little bit about what was your first piece that you launched as far as products? I know you had ball markers, you have the tees and all that. Can you just kind of go in detail of
Which, by the way, that ball marker, that's heavy.
yeah, it's super
Thanks,
nice.
man. Appreciate it.
That
Yeah.
that could do some damage.
I hope so. Yeah. I mean, it's fitting for the air, right? So right now, if you're pretty mad, you just check that.
Yeah.
But also, I right now it's actually it plays into the part we were discussing earlier about Dia los Muertos. I did the packaging of it. I don't know if you saw it. It's like a frame with the
Yep.
cempasúchil, and that's in part of the our heritage, right? So that's the part where you say, like, okay, how do we honor our ancestors through the past, and how do we remember our families? And that's through an altar that we place. So the ball marker was created with the idea that a skull is part of
There's kind of
remembering the dead in the past. There you go. Yeah.
yeah.
And the packaging was with the thought of, okay, how can we represent that in a way that it plays on homage to our families? So probably making an altar and putting a picture of that family members, how you pay your respects and you remember your past. And that's what I wanted to visualize with the way I represented that ball marker. So it's a remembrance of our history, but also it's a place to remember where you dropped your ball and when you're sharing the court with the greens with two other people.
I feel bad opening it. Like I really did. Because I'm like, this is so like I'm always a fan of when people take that extra step and then, you do that little bit of thing when it's your merchandising and, you're telling
Yeah,
the story. It's not like a Ziploc either. So you
Yeah.
can't save it. It's like a rip it
But
in
it's
your,
cool. Like
yeah,
the whole like thought process from like for people that are like watching on YouTube because I know it's but like you said, the picture frame deal. Like not just the ball marker itself, but from the package, there was obviously a thought process in that stuff.
reminded me
Very
of
cool.
Coco,
there you
like
go.
the
Yeah,
movie.
Yeah, which
that's
yeah,
a
I
that's a
love
good
it.
way to
that's a
visualize it. Yeah,
for sure.
it's a
Great
relative
movie.
symbolism to it.
That's what you should watch on the plane to Mexico. You should watch
I
Coco.
might. I've watched it a
That
lot of times. It's a great movie.
that way you're like you know what you're doing.
I'm ready to go. So kind of going back to this.
You
So
can watch Blood In, Blood Out while you're
Yes. That's
I
a
gotta do
classic. You
that
can't
too.
forget that one.
I
But yeah,
gotta
to answer your
download it.
question, sorry, I totally sidetracked on that. But to answer your
Oh, it's
question, the first product I launched was the black hat, and I call it the sombra because in Spanish it means shadow. It's went the dark color, and I just did that because I feel like it's typical to start with some kind of design that's easily recognizable. So I wanted to be just the printing on the front made it recognize the name, the skull on the back on the side really resonates in the black when the outline white, so you can kind of see more vividly what it is. And I got good feedback from it. And I think that understanding what it is and what it represents was a good way to get more of interaction. And I feel like there's been very positive feedback so far on what it represents, and I appreciate those that contributed to
Sure.
that.
I'm a snob for a nice golf hat, so I mean I'll be definitely rocking this on the course. Don't worry. Or just I mean
Awesome.
honestly, just in general, I like to wear. It's always nice to find a hat that you can wear on and off the course.
Right.
And again, kind of going back to like, I like wearing hats too that kind of tell a story. Like it's like, hey, what does that mean? And then like, well, now I got you on the podcast. We're asking the questions. So now I can
There
actually
you
tell your
go.
story a little bit,
Well,
right?
that's
So
why I
it's
didn't
huge.
like I was ready to buy one, and I'm like, hey, I don't want to like buy it, and then somebody be like, what's that hat mean? And I'm like, hold on, let me Google it quick, and
Yeah.
it's like field. I'm just like, well, it, like the
When when you think of it that way, it's
yeah,
totally different than what the actual
right.
meaning is
And
behind it.
I'm
Right.
like, there's definitely more to it
For
than
sure.
this, so I wanted to reach out and ask.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
also, why is the C so big? Like, is there a story with that?
No, there's no
Oh,
particular story. I think I just did capitalize it and I liked how it looked and
It
I
does
stuck
look
with
good. I
that.
was thinking like there was some like story behind the
specifically.
design and everything, and
In my first mock-ups, I kind of tried to do something with the C and a ball, like an actual ball in there. And I didn't like how it looks, but I stuck with the text and I was like, I like the bigger C as it comes in.
I do
And I
too.
started playing with just the like an acronym, like I started doing just CGC and how it represent and like visualize. And I thought, like the capital C looks okay like that. I'm gonna stick with it.
For sure. So,
that's the black one.
yeah, I like that. So going back to the other question I'd mentioned earlier, do you plan on releasing any other colors at all as far as the white
In
and black
regards
colorway
to
that you have right now?
hats,
Yeah.
I don't think I have anything else that I want to do in hats. I want to do more of the attire. So whether it be
Okay.
like a hoodie of like a typical style from Mexican style, or maybe something into polos. It's probably similar to other individuals, but I want to take it into approach where the design is typical to what maybe like a mariachi would wear or something of
Yep.
a regional
Yep.
area that's typical of that. So that's I'm still working on some development to
Sure.
get that created and some samples run out. But yeah, I think the next step would be to kind of branch into separate different clothing pieces first instead of coming back to hats. If anything, I'll probably make them like a hard front because I know that I did the soft front, so it's more comfortable for now.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do something with a hard cap.
I'm like going back to being the hat snob. Like I'm pretty picky, but I'm like I like a wide variety of different hats. But I run a lot too, so like I feel like this is like one of those hats where like you could. It's very like universal.
Yeah.
Like it's breathable,
It,
so you
and
can
I
run on
and I
this.
chose the softness because I feel like sometimes here, at least in California, it gets pretty hot, and
Yep.
having that hard front makes you more sweaty and makes it uncomfortable because it gets itchy,
Sure.
right? So I had to do a couple of test runs to make sure. You know what? I don't know if I highlight the firmness in the front of the hat while I'm playing around because being in the middle of the sun, being out here at 80, 85 degrees, sometimes 90, it starts to itch, especially with my bald head, because I get really sweaty there. So that's the reason why I went with the soft bill.
Gotcha. And what was the first product that you released? Was it the ball marker, the hats? Did you release
It
them
was a
all kind of at
hat.
once? The
No, it
hat.
was a hat at first, a black hat, and then I
Yep.
did this one, and then I kind of did the white hat in tandem with the markers.
Okay. And then so which is your personal favorite as far as the hat? So I know you only have the two colorways, but I know you're wearing the white right now, but do you have like a personal preference as far as, or just depends on the day what you're feeling?
I I usually wear black because I'm used to stuck to more darker colors. I think white one is when I wear it for hotter days.
Mm.
Well, right now it's starting to get cold. Ironically, we're getting some rain this coming week, so I'll probably stick to my black hat again. But yeah, I usually if I can reflect more sun with the white hat, by all means I will. So I don't
Sure.
want to absorb more heat on my skull. But yeah.
Uh, okay, so what like is the design process? I know you talked about like Dom had mentioned like the C. Did you did it take you a long time to find the vision of like, hey, this is the name of the brand, this is what this is what I want? Was there a clear like that's it, or did it take you a while to really start like? Did you have a couple other names before you actually launched Campo Golf?
The name came pretty organically when I
Okay,
first had the idea, just because I was like, I want to be in the space. I want to be I want to be something or create something that's in the space that speaks for my culture. And I was like, okay, well, space and campo, okay, that kind of goes into play. And then I was like, okay, well, campo also means forest, so I figured why not run with that? And I think that was kind of the organic process of coming up with the name. Whereas the text and the logo, that took a little bit longer. I think the name came first, and I started going with just the generic like golf ball style. But I didn't like how it didn't represent something from my past. And the skull, as you see it, is something that is a simple yet minimalist style, but it still tells a story from where it came from. That's typical to my heritage of the Kalaka and remembering the past.
Sure. Uh, Go ahead.
You know what's funny? I've always loved, like, even when I was little, like sugar skulls. I don't know why. I think it was like the colors, even without knowing like what it represented back in the day. I've never actually owned anything that has a sugar skull on it until this hat. So I feel like it's very like full circle for me. I've always enjoyed like the colors, and as I learned more about what they represented, I loved that aspect of it. Um, but this is like the first time I've actually owned anything that has to do with a sugar skull or has a skull on it.
There we go.
It's like it,
Nice,
I don't know, it feels very full circle, and I don't know why, but like it's just like those little things in life, right?
For sure. Yeah. No, I
definitely,
agree.
yeah.
I don't know why I just kind of popped. I'm just like, damn.
No, but it's a
If
good
you
story
if you,
because it reminds you of like, okay, well, where did I see this? And now kind of putting the pieces together from what you've learned kind of makes more
Mhm.
sense. So I totally get that. It's not a pop of the thing head. You got it.
if you could collaborate with any designer, golfer, or brand, who or what would it be?
Ooh, designer. I think it might be a little controversial to say, but Malbon because they're breaking the barrier of typical styles.
Is that
They're
really
the
controversial at this point?
I don't think
I
so.
guess not.
I
If
feel
you're
like a
going
lot
from the
of people we've
snobs,
asked
if
are
you're going
just
with
like
typical
Mel Bond.
snob, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just because they were the frontiers to kind of break that barrier of typical style and apparel, right? And I think that's one of the champions of what the rest of us are trying to deliver. And having that opportunity with a brand that's kind of started from scratch and kind of build that platform is would be a phenomenal opportunity.
That would be pretty cool. So kind of piggyback off that question, would you want to do like a hat, shirt? Like
I
what would
would
you like
prefer to
to
do
do?
something that's it's like somewhat streetwear.
Sure.
Um, So, for example, like something I would visualize is, you know how charros, like Mexican singers, they have this big jacket. If we
Hmm.
could have something like that, that was like a windbreaker type, but like the really like embroidered design, I think that would be pretty dope to do.
That'd be really cool. I know. I feel like Jason Day took a lot of heat for his like Malbon attire, like in the
Yeah,
beginning, and then all of a sudden, like everyone started actually like
I feel like the only people that give him heat were the like the purists.
there was a lot
right,
of it. Yeah, they're like, who is this guy and why is he wearing this? And I mean, everyone else I think thought it was really cool. And again, like you said, like Malbon has been one of the few that have really paved the way, break barriers of like, hey, streetwear, golf, we can be all one, it doesn't have to be just one or the other. So
right.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like he did take a lot of there was a lot of like memes or
Oh,
a lot of just
absolutely.
hate
He got
on
so much
Jason.
hate that first week that he wore it. It was like,
Yeah,
okay, here it comes. But as anything, once it starts to get enough traction and goes viral, it starts to turn the needle, right? It's like, okay, I'm going from hate to I can appreciate that. Now I can rock it. And it's fully welcome at this point.
for sure, for sure. No, that would be really cool. I agree. I'm And I'm pretty optimistic too. I feel like there's a lot more companies out there, not just the companies, but entrepreneurs like yourself that are really breaking that barrier too. Like, hey, it's okay to just be yourself or be true to like your culture or you know what I mean? Like
Right.
in we've had this conversation multiple times where it's like it's really cool to like hear the story. And I feel like people can gravitate towards that and actually respect it and want to be want to like Pare Golf, for example, with Maddie.
Yeah.
Like I feel like, some of these guys have like really like put their culture and everything behind it and people are really, really um, stand behind it and enjoy it. And
Speaking of
Yeah.
Pare, we're gonna get back to Campo, but they just had their little 1 year
yeah,
pop-up
anniversary.
event. Shout
Mhm.
out Maddie.
Yep.
Congrats, big dog.
Yeah, he's awesome. So congrats to Maddie.
Congrats,
Yeah.
Maddie. It's funny because we're gonna do a collab. I haven't told you yet, but if you say Pare,
You were mentioning that.
Ooh.
Yeah, we haven't
yeah, we
talked about
haven't
further,
set
but
it up yet, but we're gonna do our first collab with
so it'd be
Maddie.
cool.
Yeah.
Maddie's awesome.
Dope.
But yeah, just going back to that, I feel like people are starting to like it's not this stuffy white person sport longer where you have to wear
Hopefully,
your
hopefully not anymore.
yeah.
It's trending the direction to not be, which is a beautiful thing.
And
Right.
I
Like
think to help
stuffy
with
old people suck.
yeah, I think to help with Malbon though, like being able to sign now he just what signed a former Nike executive as the he's
The
like a
head,
Yeah,
CEO type
yeah.
of deal. Yeah.
that's
Um,
big. That's awesome for them.
very big. And I think that will definitely make a splash in the golf space as far as professional golfers, like tour golfers. So
Right.
Yeah, what? He's got Jason Day. I
yep.
know. I think Gigi sponsored.
GG sponsored, yep. So they do I think some they do a lot of stuff with is it Evian? Is it Evian the water? It's
I think Evian. Mhm.
like a
Oh,
major
the
sport in the
really gross water.
LPGA.
Yeah,
I don't really drink it, but
look
it's an
like
LPGA.
you and your Target water.
I
I know you
well,
don't even drink that. It's too good. You're too
no,
good
no, no,
for
no,
it.
no, no. I drink any water. My wife is Aquafina only, dude. It's the weirdest thing ever. She's
Oh,
Aquafina,
You
but
see
I
that?
drink whatever.
Tap water. I'm a heathen.
Minneapolis actually known to have the best city water
I
in the
don't live in
state.
Minneapolis.
No, but I'm saying like I like
So
those.
there was actually a time not too long ago where the water by me got contaminated, and my parents never told me not to drink it.
Do you have well water?
No,
Okay.
it's from the city. I only found out because my friends are like, "Hey, did you drink any water today?" I'm like, "No." They're like, "Don't." And I was like, "Oh."
I'm gonna get sick.
Yeah, well, my parents never told me. They're just like, "Yeah, he'll figure it out.
it'll pass by eventually.
Yeah.
If he gets sick, he gets sick." I'm just like, "Well, shit."
Okay, I did have a question for you. So you posted on your Instagram. So it's the was it the Dia de los Mulligans event?
Right.
Were you at the event?
I wasn't. So
Oh,
I'm my wife is about 7 months pregnant right now, and I have a
oh,
toddler. So
congrats. Yeah.
I'm going. Thank you, appreciate it.
Busy.
So it's I've been very very busy lately with trying to keep the family down. So I was given the opportunity to be able to donate some markers to all the players out there. So
Awesome.
I figured it was like fits the community, fits the what they're trying to support with the foundation of La Colonia and the Eden Garden out there. And I think that with what I have in my culture and what the brand represents, I figured, okay, I can give it to those players and what it means to them. And given it's a Dia de los Muertos, I was like, okay, this is a match made in heaven type of situation where we have Calaca ball markers for Dia de los Mulligans. It's almost a Dia de los Muertos for a Latino family foundation. So I thought that's just a perfect blend.
No, that's really cool. The reason why I asked is because I know I think I saw a Instagram reel on your page with the was the Happy Gilmore jersey.
Yeah. So
Was that
that's
you?
their that no, that's not me.
Oh,
No,
okay. So
that's
it's could
that's the representative for the Dia de los Mulligans. I think
okay.
that's their character. That's pretty cool.
That's
I
a
mean,
hell of
if
a
I can get it,
representative.
I can
How do
get
we
Yeah,
get
it's
a
it's
how
really cool.
how
So
do
I
we get a
followed that because
representative?
I before you and Los Colferos posted about it, I wasn't aware of it. But I know one of the videos that I said was on your Instagram. I thought it was you because it was on your reel, but maybe you tagged somebody else, so I wasn't sure. But
yeah.
I think there was like two or three people that were wearing the jersey, but I saw the one guy going crazy in the event. I'm like, that's super cool. So I was like, well, maybe it's you, maybe it's not. I don't know. I figured I'd ask.
No, I mean that's not me. I wish that was me, but I want to get one of those jerseys. That's a pretty dope jersey.
This is super dope.
Yeah.
That event looks super cool.
Yeah, so I mean, I know you obviously donated the ball markers for everyone that participated, but can you walk us through because it's a charity event if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah, so it's a charity event. It's for the La Colonia Community Foundation, which supports a local area called the Eden Gardens. And it was an area in San Diego that was built for local farmers back in the day. So in that area, it was a specific area designated for Mexican and Latino families that would live out there and support the local farmland near Solana Beach. And so this community has gone back to, sorry, this foundation has gone back to support that community of underrepresented Latinos to help them get more resources and more advocate for them when there's a little bit of when they have some challenges. And I think that that opportunity to be able to support a foundation that really helps farmers and what they call campesinos in Spanish really was resonated with what we had in mind here. And I think that that's a great cause for what they were supporting.
That's amazing. Do you participate in any other like events or have you done any other
Not
events
yet.
in the past? Not yet.
No, not yet. I mean, granted that I started the brand not too long ago. I think that that's where I want to target to be. There's obviously a lot of other larger community events that happen, like Rasa Golf that happened a few months ago. That's another big tournament that happens. But I think with time comes, as the brand grows, we'll definitely be at more of those tournaments.
Sure.
Are you in SoCal?
I am. I'm in Orange County, so I'm smack dab in the middle of LA and San Diego. So I
Oh,
kind of visit both
boy,
ways.
do we
Yeah.
have an event for you.
There
Yeah, we got an event next year.
That's what I was hinting
Yeah,
at.
yeah. No, I know.
you go.
I was aware. I was just
Yeah,
giving him
like
a little extra.
the local Roger Dunn is maybe like 2 miles away from me. So if you ever need a fitting, come by and we'll drive over.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be in Pasadena.
Sweet.
Yeah. How far is that from you from there?
From me, it is
From
about
You from
an
there, from
hour.
there, everywhere.
Pasadena for me is about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours,
That's not
depending
bad.
on
So
traffic. Yeah.
English.
yeah,
English, Derek. English.
English.
English
I'm
sucks.
rusty, you know. It's been a couple
From
weeks.
what?
In any case,
You missed a week.
a week it makes a big difference.
But that's your fault.
Like kinda. I mean,
Mhm.
kinda. Yes. I wish I didn't have to work full time, so I could just do this. This would
What
be
are you
cool.
saying? I
But
don't work full
I
time?
hear
yeah,
you.
you do. But I mean, I was yeah, it's corporate events or something I couldn't miss. But in any case, where would you like to see Campo Golf in the next 3 to 5 years?
I think that if we are able to grow to support something of a representation of local golf courses, be at least in those golf courses that has some Latinos or predominantly Latino population in them, so that they can bring more players in, that would be ideal. And I think at some point, if I could contribute back to my local high school and maybe start some type of golf team, because in Santa Ana, where I'm from, not a single high school has a golf team, at least from the public school system. So I think that if we could do something in which we could implement a team, at least to our local school district, that would be ideal to kind of grow the game and make it more inclusive for other generations of other people.
That's awesome.
It's the stuffy white people that ruined it.
Yeah, stuffy white people, I swear. Really good people. Is there anything that maybe
Damn white people.
is there anything that we might have missed that you might want to mention or talk about?
No, I think you covered everything in regards to what we represent and what the intention is, and I appreciate you guys taking the time to chat with me about it and learn more
For
about
sure.
the brand. I think that's very appreciative, and having that the conversation to spark up is definitely valuable to other brands that are still growing out there and being part of the golf space.
Absolutely. We do usually ask, or at least I do, as far as like entrepreneur, like if there's one piece of advice you'd give to somebody who's looking to start a business, whether it's in the golf space or just elsewhere, like what's one piece of advice you'd give them?
I think, um, and by all means, I'm not a serial entrepreneur or anything. I'm a software engineer by day, so this is
Sure.
my side opportunity that I hopefully become growth. I think it's knowing the market that you're getting into. I think that's a big key factor. It might be really saturated market like golf is, but there's niches in it that kind of there's definitely a lot of value. And in this case, I think that something that represents me is something important. So having a niche that speaks to you and you know the market well enough to be able to have a conversation about is very key.
It's a great answer. I like that. Because yeah, there, like you said, golf is such a there's it's a huge space, but there's
Right.
so many apparel companies, brands. But like you said, when you tell a story, people can really get behind that. So
Well,
Right.
and you know, everybody wants to be Nike. Everybody
Right.
wants to be Adidas. Nobody wants to be themselves anymore, which I feel like is such a shame, you know, because, you know, like we've been talking about the whole time, there's so many great stories within golf,
yeah,
within everybody's own community, company. You don't want to be Nike, you want to be Campo. You know, you want to do this, or that. And I feel like that's what gets lost in translations when it comes to newer. Um,
they just want to be a big company that sells a bunch of stuff, but it's really
right.
their story gets kind of
Yeah.
lost.
And like a great
Right.
example is like Chaz is like, bro, let's be good, good. I'm like, why would we want to be good, good? Why can't we do something our own way? You know,
Yeah,
like we're not trying to be foreplay or like any of those other big golf podcasts.
you can take some ideas from them, but it's not you're
Yeah.
not trying to be.
No,
Right.
one, I don't want to be that big. That's crazy.
That's nuts.
No,
You
no.
lose grasp of what you started. It doesn't become yours at that point.
Exactly. And I feel like companies like that you can't reach out to and you're gonna get like a robot DM and it's like
Yeah, automated message.
yeah, it's like you should want to be yourself and grow organically. And I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs don't do that anymore. I've always heard like, man, if you don't have something pop off in like 3 to 5 months, you should start over. And it's like, why? If you're having fun and you're growing a community, who cares?
Right.
As long
Yeah,
as
I
you
mean,
enjoy it.
I'm definitely gonna take it slow. I mean, as I shared, my family's growing. I'm super busy with that. I'm growing this as I can.
Yeah.
Sometimes I pack orders at 11:30 midnight just because that's the only time I have to be able to send them out. But I'm dude, I take it at the pace that I can, and I'm not in a rush to make this, to your point, a massive company. This is something that's going to be homegrown and home kept to make sure that it represents its true nature.
Sure. No, that's great. Um, well, if you kind of covered everything, let's do a couple rapid fire questions. The first one here is what would be your walk-up song? So we're having this event next summer.
Why whole one of the shindig,
Whole one of the shindig. Everyone's there having a blast.
which we're trying to do walk-up songs, funny
Yep.
enough.
Yep.
What is your walk-up song?
I would say my song is Tienes Espinas el Rosal, and I'll have to play it for you guys. It's a very cumbia song, and it
Like
goes beep 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 beep, and that's very typical of cumbias in Mexico City, where my family's from.
okay.
So cumbias are very very hot, very very danceable, and it gets very catchy. So I think that song would make me kind of vibe and let loose, and maybe open up some other people to be more
Heck
comfortable
yeah.
the first round, because you always get the jitters in the first hole, you know. I think that's a
Yeah.
good way to break the ice.
For sure. And I think that we kind of had that discussion too about the first one with the walk-ups on. It's like it takes a little bit of pressure off of everyone, you know? Just try to have a
Right.
good time. Unless you pick a terrible song, and then there's maybe a little bit added pressure to it, but
Right. I mean, I
sounds
could
like
go Wu-Tang or something like that, but that'd be a little too heavy, you know?
yeah,
I mean, Wu-Tang would be cool.
Wu-Tang slap. But I know I like that.
I
That's
just
awesome.
saw we have a big group chat, and a couple weeks ago, I saw a bumper sticker, and it said nothing is forever except for
Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang.
Yes.
I'm like,
There you
yeah.
go.
All right, Dom. You can ask whatever question, and I'll let you ask the food question too, because I didn't really come up with a whole lot of them. So
I like how you're like, you can ask whatever question and the food question. There's only two.
yeah, one of those two. I'm gonna ask the
Nice.
next. Don't have a whole lot of options.
So okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Um, w- what's your favorite non-golf Instagram account?
Non-golf Instagram account. Um, there's one that's really funny called Fuckboy Problems. I think that kind of the kind of memes that they throw up. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. But
We
it's
need a
it's
good
it's just
laugh.
comedy. Yeah.
My
I
favorite,
mean,
my favorite one is kids getting hurt.
I still don't think I
that
follow
one that
that
one's
one,
funny
to be
too.
honest.
Well, and Jess was like giggling about it last week, and she's like showing it to me, and she's like, "You already liked this one." I'm like, "I did," because it
It's
was
painful to
funny.
watch that with a 2-year-old. I gotta say, like when I see that have kids happening, I'm like, oh no, it hurts me.
Yeah, as you say, it hits a little bit more closer to home for you.
It
Um,
does, yeah.
this kid had the slingshot, and I
Right
think it was
back
like an
at him.
orange, and it went "Phew,"
Right back at
boom,
home.
and
Oh, I saw
"Huh."
that one. Yeah.
I'm like, what a dummy.
All right, so you're playing golf. What's your favorite like snack or beverage on the court? Like, what's your go-to when you're playing golf? Like, if you're playing just a big regular 18 holes.
Something easy to grab. I think a burrito. If I can grab a burrito and just kind of walk it through. Anything else, if, I don't want it to fall apart on me. I don't want it to break off. But if I have a decent burrito, I think that'll be dope.
She imagine just golfing with like a big ass like Chipotle burrito.
That'd be amazing.
That would be that on itself would fall apart. So I don't think it could even go with that big
See,
one. It has
not
to
if
go with
you
something
double
mid-size.
tortilla it though, because then that shit don't move.
I've never done that. I should try that. I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to do that.
It's only like 780 calories just from the tortillas, but it's
I
worth
love
it if you're playing
tortillas
golf. So
though.
do I. I love
That'll
bread
get
and
you through the day.
sucker for
That's
any
enough
I love
calories to burn
bread
bread.
through.
tortilla. Yeah.
There you go.
Um, I will ask one more. Are you a sneakerhead by any chance?
I I was, and I had to go lay off of it a bit just because I have to focus more on my kid. But I used to collect quite a bit of different Adidas and
Okay.
Nikes.
Internally, you never lay
Yeah,
off of it though.
once you're like a
I can't.
sneakerhead, you just
I
always right.
admire from afar now.
Yeah. So
I got some Solomons that were delivered today. I
yeah,
haven't seen them yet, but they're like the Aurora Borealis because Ralph is like,
Ooh.
bro, my brother needs these boots. And I'm like, Raul, do you need anything from Solomon? He's like, don't twist my arm. I'm like, sick. I'm gonna get something next time. I don't feel bad. I got an
so
X.
you ordered something for yourself
Fuck
because you're
yeah.
ordering.
So I got an XT4 OG and Aurora Borealis. They are gonna be beautiful. I can't wait to see them when I get home.
I picked up. Of
Are you really posing in the mirror?
course I am. These.
That's an old man shoe.
Yeah, well, I'm old. I'm 35. They're legit. What are they? The New Balance 1905s, I think, something.
That's when they came out.
You know,
Seriously. Bring
I was shooting down New Balance for so long, and then I had a really bad plantar fasciitis due to my age. And I got these like super cushion New Balance, like there's like foam runner looking ones, and I
Yeah.
haven't looked back. I saw them and I was like, I'm sticking with these. I can walk for days with these comfortable shoes, and I just can't go back to the flat Air Force One, something like that.
So I work with New Balance. I can say stuff like
Oh,
that because it's like I understand. Like the 1080, phenomenal shoe. 880 is great. The new 860 is great. But that is an old man shoe.
It's a sweet shoe.
The gray.
I like it with the brown. I don't know if you can see it.
yeah.
Not really with the lighting. You can't really see it very good. But they're dark gray with the tan. But they were on sale, so I was like,
There you
That's why they
go.
were on
Hey,
sale.
that's what you're buying. This is sales stuff. It's
yeah,
so comfortable.
yeah. Okay. They're not on your feet. They're on my feet. Home slice.
You're never gonna wear them
I wore them today.
in the
There
mirror.
you go.
No, that was
See?
last night. I thought you wore them today. No, I'm wearing them to Mexico, actually.
Are you?
Yeah,
They're gonna be like old white man.
that's what I'm going for.
Yeah.
Hey, he's trying to fit in. It's okay.
I'm trying to fit in a little
That
bit.
way they don't hit on you.
Yeah, I'm married. See, I can't get it. Yeah.
She'll stab everybody, dude.
Oh,
All right. So, last question. We always end this podcast with a food related question.
So
Don,
this is
asking how.
cool because we're gonna be in your neck of the woods eventually here.
Yep.
more.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, where are we going? Because we like to eat. I love to eat. Derek likes to eat, but I live for food. Derek lives because he has a wife. I would die for food though. So breakfast, lunch, dinner.
So there's this. If we're sticking to the burrito theme, there's this place called Nate's Corner. Drag Club, not too far away from me. They have these like they put Chipotle to shame, just how big their burritos are, and they're freaking delicious. So that's your breakfast spot for sure.
Is it
Um,
is it like a breakfast burrito, or are we just going straight into like burritos for breakfast?
no, these are breakfast burritos, and they have different
Oh,
varieties from like
yeah,
chorizo,
I love
bacon,
breakfast
sausage. They
burritos.
have all types of burritos there. You make it however you want. It's really
Yep.
really good.
I still think the best breakfast burrito I've ever had was at Half Moon Bay.
I wish I would have tried it.
That was a good ass burrito.
Yeah, I haven't
What
had
what
that
was the
one yet.
place called? Something Corner?
Nate's Corner.
Nate's
Nate's
Corner.
Corner.
Okay.
Corner
I was
spelled
gonna
with the
say Half
K.
Moon Bay.
Okay, so we're eating that for breakfast or lunch or dinner, but for breakfast.
No, for
Where are we going for
That's
breakfast.
breakfast.
lunch?
You can have that breakfast for lunch, but for lunch, let's do let's see. What can we do for lunch? Kind of spacing on that one. What can I do? I'll get back to that. But for dinner, um, there's these food trucks that line up on the street close by, and they have queso birria tacos. They have corn on the cob. There's pambazos, which are basically fried sandwiches. You name whatever you want, they have everything lined up. So it's a buffet of food, and you can't go wrong with any choice there.
I'm
That
gonna go
that's
down the
pretty
line
much
and
what I do.
just tap my card at each one.
Taco trucks
I
are the
sometimes I do that. I've done that before where like I want something from here, I'll get to the next one, and then I have shrimp tacos over there, and then they have something else, and by the time I'm done, I'm like I can't even walk to my car. It's bad.
yeah.
And then the best part is you get all that. It's probably like $20.
Yeah, it's really good food.
Oh,
All right, so going back to lunch, where are we going to lunch?
what
Lunch.
we could do, and I'm not opposed to it since the breakfast burrito is like a size of like a baby.
We could
Mhm.
skip
I'm
it.
not opposed to skipping lunch.
Then we
And
can
you
just like
mean you
on the
basically
taco.
could. It's such a big burrito, you almost could skip lunch. If you had it as a brunch type meal instead, you definitely don't want to have lunch because it's so big.
I normally eat breakfast around brunch time anyways. I'm not a
And you're
morning
good.
guy.
That's yeah,
Yeah.
Like
kind of
like
similar.
you give me that burrito at like 9 a.m. I'd be full until like
Like on
4
a
o'clock.
like on a weekend for sure, but during the weekday I try to like not eat breakfast. Like I try to eat like at like
I've
12 or
been
1.
doing overnight oats.
Have you?
And
I like overnight oats. It's
I've
good.
been eating breakfast most days, and then it's just it's been nice
I like
There you
getting
overnight
go.
into a
oats.
routine.
Yeah. Like there, I got a spot for lunch. So there's this place off the coast called Shake Shack. Not the original Shake Shack, as you know, the big brand, but there's a local
Yep.
one in Newport. And they have really good shakes. The burgers are bomb. They have fries, and it's a really nice coastal view. So you have a good raft around. It's kind of close to where Monarch Beach is. So you have a good view after round if
Yeah,
you ever
but
go
like
playing down there.
I like Shake Shack, like the chain. I like Shake Shack.
It ain't Shake Shack the chain. It's another little hole in the wall, but it's
I
it's really
know
good. But it's always busy. Can't get parking there.
that means it's good.
Yeah, for sure. I like that. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all we had for. I said I didn't have a whole lot of rapid fire questions, so I apologize on that. But
All
hopefully we
good.
can link up next year, and continue the good work, man. I said I love the hat. It's dope. Really appreciate it. Ball marker. tees. Yeah, and when you drop some other stuff, let us know. We'd like to have you back on.
You got it. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me, guys.
Awesome. Thanks so much, man. Have a good night.
You too. Thank you.
Yeah, take
Peace.
care. Nice to meet you.
Likewise.